Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Before we continue on, I will remind you once again that I am not a lawyer. I am not legally certified to practice law in Vietnam. I am just a foreigner from the United States who knows about the labor code. So we're going to go and continue on. I know in my last video I went and said that I was going to start with Article 6, but Article 5 did mention things like annual paid leave and stuff like that. So before I go ahead and do anything else today, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and show this to you about the paid leave. Now, that goes down to Article 111 and Article essentially 112 and 113. So basically in this region right over here. So essentially, we're going to talk about Article 12 first and then Article 113 since both of them go together. Yep, Article 12 and Article 113 go together. Now, actually, technically, we're also going to go ahead and talk about Article 11, Clause 3. So we're actually going to cycle up just a bit. Okay, right here, Article 111, weekly breaks. So Article 111, Clause 3. In case a public holiday falls on an employee's weekly break, coincide with a public holiday as prescribed in Clause 1, Article 112 of this labor code, he or she will have compensatory time off on the next working day. Right here. This is important. Reason why it's important is very simple. Here's the English version, there's the Vietnamese version. Same thing. Reason why this is important is simple. Because of the fact that if a public holiday falls on your day off, and you normally get that day off anyways, then that means your boss must give you a paid day off on the next working day. That's what it says. Right there. So, public holidays, PTO, paid time off. This is the number one thing that your employer does not want you to know about. And it is right here. In English and Vietnamese in plain type for you to see. Public holidays. Article 112, Clause 1. Employees shall be entitled to fully paid days off on the following public holidays. Fully paid days off. Right here. Fully paid days off right there. That means that if you're scheduled to work that day and it's a public holiday, then it's supposed to be paid time off. Fully paid day off on the following public holidays. Now, when they say Gregorian calendar, they mean a solar calendar. What people normally follow. Here in Asia, they have a lunar calendar, but in this instance, they mean a solar calendar. So we're going to go ahead and continue on. So Article 112, Clause 1, Subclause A. Gregorian calendar, New Year holiday, one day, the 1st of January of the Gregorian calendar. Now again, if you're scheduled to work that day, you can get it off for paid time off. However, if you're already scheduled off, your boss must give you compensatory time on the next working day, just like we discussed previously. Lunar New Year holiday, 5 days. Yep, your boss is required to pay you for TET. And I bet that not a single one of you has ever received a TET bonus. Not one of you, even though it's required by law. Victory Day, which literally just happened recently. And yes, I know I just started posting YouTube videos. And yes, I know I should have mentioned something about Victory Day and also Labor Day and stuff like that. But it completely slipped my mind. And I do sincerely apologize about that. I really do apologize. Not joking. Because culture and history are very important to Vietnam. And I am sorry for not mentioning that when I should have. So, moving on. Victory Day. The first one day, the 30th of April, the Gregorian calendar. This is the day, April 30th, 1975, when Vietnam became whole. This is the day that we all celebrate, that Vietnam became whole. When Uncle Ho's dream became reality. Letter D, International Labor Day, one day, the 1st day of May of the Gregorian calendar. This is to go ahead and show people that we appreciate what they do. That's the reason why there's an International Labor Day. Now, here recently, it was 5 days. In the news, it said it was 5 days for Labor Day and the Victory Day celebrations. And I think I started on Saturday, and it was people were supposed to go back to work, I think it was on Tuesday. Because it started, I think it was on Friday or something like that. And then it continued on until Tuesday or so. It was supposed to be 5 days. Moving on, National Day, double D. Okay, and that's the D with the slash to it right here. So you've already got A, B, C, D, and then D with the slash to it right there. National Day, 2 days, the 2nd of September of the Gregorian calendar, and the previous or next day. So not both. It's going to be 2 days as prescribed, either beginning or next day. Hung King's Commemoration Day, the founders of Vietnam. These are the people that founded Vietnam way back when, in time immemorial. Right here, you get 1 day of paid time off, the 10th day of the 3rd month of the lunar calendar. Right here it mentions lunar calendar. So if you don't know what the lunar calendar is, it's essentially a collection of months that are exactly 30 days. And of course you have 5 extra days to make it 365 every 4 years to account for the leap year. But lunar calendar follows the phases of the moon, just like the solar calendar follows the phases of the sun. It's really simple. Clause 2, foreign employees. That means us. And yes, under Article 151, Clause 3, we are allowed to participate in this. So yes, it is in there, right there. Number 2, right here. Foreign employees in Vietnam are entitled to 1 traditional public holiday and 1 national day of their country, in addition to the public holiday stipulated in Clause 1 of this article. So since I come from the United States, my 2 holidays that I would choose would be Thanksgiving, because it's both a traditional day and a national day, and it's gone all the way back to, I think, President Washington. So yeah, it's had precedence in the United States, as it's the only holiday that's celebrated solely in the United States for over 200 years. So it's both a national and traditional day. The other day I would choose is either Veterans Day, because my parents both came from the military, or simply New Year's Day or New Year's Eve or something like that, because both are technically. New Year's Eve is a national day. Black Friday is also a national day, even though it's not a holiday. It's a national day. So there's several holidays I can choose from, but I get 2 additional days because I'm a foreign employee. And it literally says so right there. So not only are foreigners protected by and must obey the labor code, but we're also given 2 additional days off, in addition to everything else that was previously mentioned, because of the labor code. Clause 3. The Prime Minister shall decide the specific public holidays mentioned in Point B and Point D, Clause 1 of this article, on an annual basis. That's right here. So, talk about Point B and D. Point B, which is Lunar New Year's, and D, which is National Day. Those will change every year. That's why that's there. So, Article 113, annual leave. This is what you're really interested in. And I know this is what, you've really been hankering to get your information clause into this. So we'll go ahead and continue. Annual leave. Any employee who has been working for an employer for 12 months is entitled to fully paid annual leave. Right there. Fully paid annual leave, which is stipulated in his or her employment contract as follows. Now, a lot of English centers will not stipulate paid time off. That's why you need to learn this. So you can tell your English center, I want my paid time off. And if they don't want to give it to you, well, you can either sue or leave. Those are your choices. So you are allowed to get fully paid time off for annual leave, which is stipulated in a contract, if you are working 12 days for employees who work in normal conditions. Now, this means basically people like you and me. We work in schools, we work in, restaurants, stuff like that. It's normal stuff. Now, letter B is for people that are either minor disabled who do laborious, toxic, or dangerous work. Basically, that is to go ahead and give extra compensation to vulnerable employees, minor and disabled employees. Moving on, letter C, 16 working days for employees who do highly laborious, toxic, or dangerous works. Both letter B and letter C are basically for industrial applications. Letter A is the only one that specifically applies to English teachers. So moving on. What happens if you don't work a full year? Well, that's where Clause 2 comes in. An employee who has been working for an employer for less than 12 months will have a number of paid leave days proportional to the number of working months. This means that, say, if you work for your employer, 5 months, then you get 5 days off. Work for your employer 8 months, you get 8 days off. So yeah, it's mentioned right there. Number 2. All right. Now, moving on. Number 3. An employee who, due to employment termination or job loss or other reasons, has not taken or not entirely taken up his or her annual leave shall be paid in compensation for the untaken leave days. Shall be paid. Right there. So if you get terminated from your job, your employer is required by law to reimburse you for the untaken leave days. Even if they're partially not taken, 100% not taken, 10% not taken, who cares? They are still required by law to reimburse you for it. And it says so right there. Number 3. Shall be paid in compensation for the untaken leave days. Clause 4. The employer has the responsibility to regulate the timetable for annual leave after consultation with the employees and must give prior notice to the employees. Must give prior notice to the employees. An employee may reach an agreement with the employer on taking annual leave in installments or combining annual leave over a maximum period of up to 3 years. So it's your choice. You can either go ahead and take it all at once or take it out over a period of time. Up to 3 years. That's your limit right there. Clause 5. When an employee takes his or her annual leave before salary payment is due, he or she may receive an advance in accordance with Clause 3, Article 101 of this Labor Code. When taking annual leave, according to Clause 6, when taking annual leave, should the employee travel by road, rail, water, and the travel days, the traveling time in excess of 2 days will be added to the annual leave days, and this policy shall only be granted once for an annual leave in a year. Now, what does this mean? This means you get an additional, if your traveling time is in excess of 2 days, that will be added to your annual leave days. But it'll only be granted once for an annual leave in a year. So essentially, if you have to go from, say, from Ho Chi Minh City to Dalat, okay, you and I well know that that's only about a 6 to 8 hour bus ride. But if you wanted to go by bus from Ho Chi Minh City to Hanoi, it's going to take you a while. Even if you take the fastest bus out there, the guys that don't care about their driving skills, it's still going to take you a while to get up there. But it means that if it takes you too long, they will give you 2 additional days, but that's it, and it can only be granted once in a year. And of course, Clause 7, the government shall elaborate this article. So that's what I wanted to go ahead and tell you about today, because I wanted to get that off my mind before it went ahead and became a nuisance. So Article 111, Clause 3, Article 112, and Article 113. We talked about all of that in its entirety today. So next installment, I really will talk about Article 6. Since I already got this off my mind now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Article 6 next, and that talks about rights and obligations of the employer. You need to know both, not just the employee side. You need to know the employer side too. Why? That's simple. Because of the fact that you know what your employer is supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't even know what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video by asking that you please like, share this video, comment, subscribe, mash that notification bell so that you'll be notified every single time a video of mine comes out. And I also ask that if you want to donate to me cash, you can help by messaging me on Google Chat. We can go ahead and get a donation set up. If you want to donate cash, please make sure it's in Vietnamese dong, because that's what my account accepts. If you want to donate food, please make sure it's unopened, preferably non-perishable. If you want to donate electronics, please make sure it's unused and unopened. So I am going to go ahead and say have a good day, be safe, and I look forward to seeing you in our next videos.